Hello and welcome to this OP06 Fukuoka Championships. Fukuoka? I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry, I'm American, not from Japan, unfortunately, but we've got an exciting set of matches for you today in the championships. We're going to go over top 8, top 4, the semifinal, and final as always. Now, full transparency, I do not own the rights to this championship stream. This was streamed on the official channel, which you can go check out in the description below if you don't want to hear me talk. But for those of you that do want to stick around, I super appreciate it. There's no monetary value being made on this video or anything like that. I have no affiliation with them. It's just my own commentary. So let's just get into round one. So this is what the meta is looking like for anyone who is curious. It looks like Sakazuki is really dominating this one. 6 Sakazukis right in here. I think there's one Perona, or Yamato, I'm sorry. There's one Yamato, and I don't exactly know what this kanji is, but there's 3 in these, so 6, 7, 10, 13, 16. So I guess this says 3 of each. I assume this probably means like each in kanji. So 3 katakuris, 3 peronas, and 3 morias. Y'all flamed me in the comments for that. I gotta double check. But Moria is not the match that we have today. Today in this video, we've got one of the Sakazukis against Perona. Now, both kind of control-y decks within their own right, Perona being like resting characters, but also holding a Navy package to delete characters, while Sakazuki is bottom decking and deleting. So we'll see which strategy proves more effective. The Sakazuki player having a Moria, Rebecca, Tashigi, Houndblaze, and Raplucci in hand, so not a terrible hand in my opinion. Could be a little bit better, but especially if they're going second. I did not see where the turn first card was on either side. I don't remember which side it was, but going second, this is not a bad hand in my opinion. You've got stuff to do turn 3 or turn 1 and turn 2, which is really, really nice. So that could give you some hefty advantage, and then the Houndblades could come in after turn 2 as well. So pretty good start. I feel like the Perona player holding a Borsalino, Moria, I forget what that guy's name is, but they've got 2 of them. Ryuma is what that says, but I don't remember what his effect does. One of the new characters in OP06 on play and on KO up to one of your opponent's resting characters with cost of 4 or less, so very, very good. Got a blocker, Sabo, as well. So not as great of a hand, I feel like, for the Perona player, but still not too bad. It looks like the Perona is going first, if you didn't see the going first card down at the bottom. And we will head into the game. Just a draw 1 Dawn pass. Turn 1 going into Sakazuki, and Sakazuki top decking down their Houndblaze. So definitely within this first part, I think you definitely throw down a Tashigi. No reason to use Houndblaze or anything like that. They didn't put down a character. So deciding first before anything, and this is the one thing that I need to always remember with Sakazuki, is using Sakazuki's main effect, or one of his main effects. So activate main once per turn, you can discard a card from your hand and draw 1 card. So discarding that Raplucci and grabbing a Hina off of that. Now playing the Tashigi. I think this was definitely correct sequencing. This is kind of a tough decision. I mean, you just threw away Raplucci. You really want to use Searchers in Branu, but opting to grab the Borsalino instead. Not having a blocker in hand, so I don't really hate this decision, especially for cost. And now we go into Perona's turn. Perona top decking a Borsalino, now having 2. Perona having 3 blockers in general in hand. So is just going to attach all 3 because they don't have a character of cost of 4 or less, or 3 or less, I'm sorry, and just hitting for life and passing off to Sakazuki. So looks like Perona really wanted to be on the even curve, it seems like, with this deck. Still getting familiar with it, as I've only been playing OP05 and just doing OP06 commentary. But that's kind of the gauge that I'm getting at this point. So Sakazuki, after drawing that Hina from the starter deck, just going to swing 5 at leader and Perona blocking with the Borsalino using counter. Sakazuki putting its main target away off of its leader effect, the Hina, and deciding to put down a Borsalino. So something that's interesting in my opinion, because your Borsalino and your Rebecca's both cost 4 each, it is really interesting to me that after just discarding that Hina, not opting to use Hina and put down Borsalino to be able to also put down a Hina. And I'm very curious as to why that specifically is, but the Perona player using its effect first, going ahead and resting that Borsalino there. They've got all 5 of their Dawn left in this one. And looks like they're just going to be putting down that Sabo blocker. They're going to be preventing all effects from KOing that Sabo, and just that Sabo alone, as it's the only character on field. So drawing into their next card this turn, looks like they have a Virgo in hand now, with strike characters. I'm not exactly sure how many strike characters that Perona would play, but that blocker staying alive is very, very nice. You can use that Rebecca in another turn, but going to be trashing that Virgo and grabbing another Rebecca blocker. So just both players really getting a slew of blockers early in this game, I feel like. And now Sakazuki on the 6th Dawn turn, he's grabbed 4 Dawn. I would assume he's probably going to be playing this Rebecca and then getting the Hina out of trash to put down. And looks like they're opting. Oh, they opt to grab a Virgo because the Virgo at least has counter on it, and then play the other Hina from hand. So the other 2 Dawn, they're going to be using Hound Blaze, and not, or I'm sorry, yes, they are going to be bottom decking the Sabo and Hound Blazing on the Tashigi, just getting really aggressive at this point, thinking about adding to the aggression by swinging with Borsalino, but they're going to swing with Tashigi instead for what I believe is a 5k swing. I think that Tashigi is a 2k body, gets plus 3,000 off of the Hound Blaze, so another counter or the first life being taken is going to have to be the options, and it looks like countering out another Borsalino going to the bin. So they've got the option to swing more, and they will now with Borsalino, another 5k swing. Swinging with blockers is the ultra aggression in this one, and finally going to be getting at life. Going to be taking that one and just swinging 5 again with Borsalino with no Dawn and ditching the Rosinante right there. So Perona now going to be drawn for turn, drawing another Sabo. So Sabo leaves the field because of Hound Blaze. Another one comes. And with the 7 Dawn turn, they're going to be thinking about what exactly they want to do with this one. I think they picked it up last turn. But they do also have an Inoop in hand, Thriller Bark Pirate card, that 2-cost character over there. On play, on KO, if this leader has Thriller Bark Pirates type, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. Really, really good to just cycle your hand and really find some important resources for your game plan. So we might see that come down this turn. I'm not 100% sure. We could see that and the other dude, the dude that I looked up earlier, the green 4-cost guy, I'm forgetting his name. I'm scrolling on OnePieceTopDecks.com to try to find this guy, the Ryuma. We might see him come down as well to KO arrested Borsa. Oh no, because Borsalino can't be KO'd by effects, so definitely then we still could see it KOing the Rebecca at this point. And so they've got one extra Dawn left over. I think that might be their game plan. Going to be swinging 6 now at the Hina, putting enough pressure on them. Only 5 cards in hand, going to be swinging 6. Needs 2k of counters to get out of this or lose the Hina because they don't have any blockers on field anymore. And so we'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he is going to 2k counter that Virgo out. Did grab that from the Rebecca placement, so definitely a strong showing. And it looks like he is going to put that Ryuma down to KO Hina instead of the Rebecca. So interesting choice there. And with 2 Dawn left, you got to be playing the dog, right? You got to be playing that Thriller Bark Pirate dog. Because what else are you going to do with the Dawn? And yes, he is going to play that to draw off of it. And I happen to read the card. Me too, buddy. Me too. Definitely, again, in my opinion, I mean, we see how strong Sabo is to be able to draw cards. And so you kind of get almost that same effect being able to just draw. And so drawing a Doflamingo, a 10-drop Doflamingo, and then also I think that was 3 cost Rosinante, if I'm not mistaken. So, going to be passing off the turn to Sakazuki. Probably going to be looking to swing a ton and then drop that Borsalina, or I'm sorry, drop the Gecko Moira next turn, or Moria. Whew. Still trying to get used to that name. And so let's see, they've got a Houndblaze that they can bottom deck one of their characters. Doesn't necessarily help you too much in the game plan, but if you can get rid of the Ryuma, that could be really, really nice because Ryuma is a 6k body, which is a little bit annoying. You've also got Great Eruption in the hand to help lower the cost of your own attack. I think that card on the very, very right of their hand is a Tashigi Searcher. And just going to be starting off with a 5k swing at Perona. Really, really interesting use of swinging with the blockers in this match. Going to be ditching. What was that? The Perona? Is an SR Perona there. So now going to be swinging at life. Going to be hitting and drawing a 2k Suru, which is really, really nice. And we'll see what they want to do right here. The Ryuma definitely, in my opinion, want to go with Houndblaze because you do not want to KO, but instead going to opt for the Gecko Moria. The Gecko Moria has an interesting effect for anyone who does not know. You're able to choose up to 1/4 cost or less, set it up as active, and a 2 cost or less card from your trash, and put one of them as active and put one of them as rested. You could choose either the 2 cost or the 4 cost to be able to do that. It doesn't have to exactly be in that order, but I can't see exactly what the rested card was, but I think the active card was Borsalino from the trash. So now looking at the 5, I think played the Tashigi down. Going to be grabbing a Navy card. It looks like it's going to be the 4-drop blocker Borsalino. Could choose that or the 7-drop Borsalino. And it looks like they're going to go with a Suru. So definitely something that I didn't expect. I didn't expect them to pick up the Suru, but whatever works. So they looks like they didn't opt to rest anything and replace the Tashigi, or maybe they did replace the Tashigi because I think they had a regular art Tashigi and then went to the alternate art Tashigi. So interesting, but you definitely like Tashigi. It's a great target for Houndblaze, in my opinion. Like we saw earlier in the game, just being able to boost that character. We see the same thing with Yellow and 200 million volts on Maru, so pretty good strategy. The Perona player grabs a Brook off of this. That's the 6 cost Brook, that little guy with an on-play effect. And so going to be choosing to rest the Borsalino and swing the dog over at Tashigi. Does hit, get rid of that Tashigi. And then Ryuma. So I think what they're trying to wonder is what the best option here is in terms of swinging with the Ryuma. Is it going to be like at Borsalino, which is going to be even 6k on 6k? Or are they going to go at life, which is 6k Ryuma on 5k Sakazuki? Remember, Borsalino does have that effect on him that he gains 1,000 plus power during opponent's turns, making him effectively a 6k blocker on a 5k body. So it looks like they're probably swinging at life, I would say here. Not many options that you really like using in terms of counter power in this hand, but could, and just opting to block out of it. So it's going to be kind of a free swing for the leader Perona if they want to do that, and it looks like they are going to attach one swing 6. And this could be an easy 2k counter. This game going on a decent amount of time, I feel like, so far. Or maybe it's just because I've been playing OP05 Sabo lately, and the games are really short with that deck. You either win fast or you lose fast. So Sakazuki player, they could, if they are swinging at leader, just use Suru to get rid of the 2k counter, but I think they're opting, and it looks like they are just going to do that. And then a Gecko Moira is played. Definitely expect to see the boss monster Doflamingo next turn, probably, and going to be grabbing Rosinante and Borsalino. So active Borsalino, resting Rosinante. That's one of the new green cards in OP05. And it looks like it's going to be Sakazuki's turn with all 10 Dawn. Now, Rosinante, by the way, it is blocker, and on opponent's turn, if your rested character would be KO'd, you may trash this card instead. So, very, very cool to keep one of the cards that they have instead of that guy, because he is a 2 cost 1,000 power body, so not really useful in terms of attacking. You do have higher bodies that you want to preserve on the board. So really cool card for this deck. And Sakazuki starting off with trashing a Branu. Thinking about playing the Rebecca, potentially getting back Hina, I would think. And yes, having to read another card. Me too, buddy. I've got my other computer pulled up with TCG player and One Piece top decks for any card that I don't know what it is to give you all accurate information. Pronunciations, though, that's a little bit tougher. So they've got a Great Eruption as well in their hand. And remember, bottom decking characters is not KOing characters. So using something like Houndblaze to bottom deck one of their more important characters could be really, really good, because you can't counter it with the Don Quixote Rosinante. So could be interesting to see what their line of play is here. And it looks like they are going to start off with a Great Eruption, drawing the Gecko Moria. Now, I don't know exactly what they decided to minus in terms of cost. If I had to take a guess, it's either the Borsalino or the Gecko Moria on Perona's side of the field. Mostly because you love just getting rid of blockers to swing into face without much hesitation because they don't have really any cards in their hand. I think just 2 of the 3 cards don't have counter. So really thinking about what he wants to do. I think they did just motion that it was the Borsalino, so going to be grabbing the 9 Dawn again, and once again reshuffling the Dawn. Really taking a while. Good thing these games almost never go to time. And this kind of really feels like a make or break moment inside the game because you gotta start doing some damage on your opponents. So swinging at the Don Quixote Rosinante there with the Borsalino, 5k into 1k. Now, this is going to, and I think they probably assume this because of the 3-card hand, this is going to either force a blocker, right, or you get to KO that, which in both ways can be really, really strong. So what they could do is they could block and with the Borsalino and then counter out of it. That's something that could keep the Borsalino alive, but I think if you do that, you definitely got a Borsalino and a Gecko Moria on the way coming at you as well. So just going to be letting that guy go. That was annoying enough to at least trigger a 1 swing. So what would be really strong here is maybe using Hound Blaze. I'm all about that Hound Blaze. The card is so good. So grabbing 2 Dawn, it looks like this is what might be the play that they do and opting to put it back. 3 Dawn. So maybe choosing to attach this to a character? Maybe to Sakazuki? Opting potentially to put it under the Borsalino and swinging 8 now. Swinging 8, I don't know exactly where. It could be at the Ryuma, which since they already swung with their 4K bodies, they might just be taking the L on that. It could be into the old dog. That could be another body that is being looked at, or it could be at life. Whichever way the Borsalino does go down on there, and now you've got 2 more swinging bodies left to attack. I think that 2 Dawn is definitely left with a Hound Blaze, and going to put down 4 Dawn and throw down the Rebecca. The Rebecca grabbing the Hina and placing that down there. Rebecca just so good in this deck as well. And going to be Hound Blazing, bottom decking the Moria because of the Great Eruption and such. So really, really strong, basically deleting their entire last turn and swinging a ton. It'll be interesting to see if Perona can get out of this one. So 3 life to 0 now for Perona. Got a couple different cards. You can't Doflamingo 5 characters, right? There's 5 characters rested. You could only get 3 of them, so you would have to utilize the Ryuma and Perona to effectively KO some of the others. So resting that Perona, or I'm sorry, resting the Rebecca there and swinging the dog man, I forget his name, Inupe, I believe is how you, Inupe, probably. Swinging there, and then Perona, I think swinging at the Hina. And is going to be countering out regardless of where they're swinging with the Virgo. So now they've got the Ryuma here to be able to swing somewhere. If they can only delete 1 more character, so 1 more character is going to come up. So looking really, really good in Sakazuki's favor, in my opinion, because especially after that counter, like no matter what, they're swinging at you with a character, right? Regardless of who it is, they're all going to be at least 5k power, and you just attach all your Dawn there, and that's just tough. And so swinging the 6 at Hina, I think again, and countering out of it with Suru, just nothing going right on that part. And I think Sakazuki's going to take this one, even with this 10 drop Doflamingo. I do think Doflamingo is their best play, but unfortunately, that can't necessarily stop a 10k attach and swing into leader. So we'll see exactly what Sakazuki wants to do. It wouldn't surprise me if maybe he did the leader effect of discard one, draw one first. Oh, they've got two. Oh, yeah, they've got two bodies. So even better, to be honest. My math was a little wrong. So getting two brews in hand, just going to be swinging at the Hina right away, and that is going to do it. Sakazuki taking down Perona in the round of 16, advancing into the top 8. There were 6 Sakazukis in the top 16. Very, very strong showing for this deck, and we'll see how it continues in the later rounds. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. Hope you click on the next one as it comes around. Subscribe for more. We'll be doing the rest of them, and you can check out previous tournament commentaries that I've gotten from the pictures and my other videos below. So thank you again.